Like I said, a couple, your fear is that only have so many cases a week.
Sure. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, we're gonna start at 6:25. That's what we said we postponed it to. So you have a few minutes. What's that? All right. Yeah.
Make a motion to come back now.
I think because we already said 6:25.
Gotcha.
I believe we're all set.
Who?
Of us met 3 years ago, 4 years ago, no, 8 years ago. Our conversations have heard more ideas in my head on how to make it really like a hub thing too, or slow. Right. Well, that's what I mean, because hour and a half we spoke, and we kind of figured it out. But then I went, like referral thing in a sense. Absolutely, yeah. Yep, yep. Somebody in this house in Chicopee, and then foreclosure he bought. Just kept on letting him stay. He paid a mortgage for 2 years, never lived in a damn place. I evicted him. I served the papers. Cars. I spell very good. Cars. That was no joke when they said it was trash. It was. I thought it was my junkyard. Other junkyard I've been dealing with it. So I got a plate number to run because there's honestly. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. Because this is the guy down the street from them. Yeah, me and been years. Yeah, me and Frank went on and spoke to the owners. They were supposed to move this stuff, and yeah, it's been years. But and that's but I don't know. Maybe Thursday after the Zoom. After I'm assuming yeah, I'll come with you guys. 'Cause the Zoom meeting should maybe last. I'm gonna try to get. I know the cops want that position filled too. Code enforcement guy. I think somebody should hire somebody. You know what's funny? There's a code enforcement, yeah, so they have, yeah. Right, so now, Springfield's been doing it for over 30 years. They have 2 deputies from us at the time that did
I
the
think that's
building
generic.
stuff.
I
They
think
have
that's,
multiple other, code enforcement officers that do other things that aren't, you don't have to have the specialized training per se. No, some of it's, they're all different. Yeah, I was at one of the neighborhood councils, saw some of the ordinances I wrote, so they asked me to
yeah,
tell me, so they wanted to copy it.
anybody can
Literally,
speak
they
on
talked
it.
to 4 code enforcement officers in the hour I
Right,
spoke with her. It was like, you know, code enforcement officer training. Oh. Well, Tim's not here.
It's okay, 'cause
We still miss you.
I said, well, Dan's gonna be here, so we should be all set.
Get extra pay for this, as you're working out of rank?
Yeah. You can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Yeah.
No, Tim's coming at 7.
Oh, yeah. It was it's a charity thing, they get clothes for success or whatever, so, just for success, yeah. Yep. It was on TV too, a little fashion show thing.
Minute and a half.
Yeah, it's usually 3 minutes. Yep.
Okay, I'll take a motion to call the meeting back to order. Motion to, resume the order of business for the Public Works Committee. Carla, can you call a roll?
Kravitz,
Yes.
Labrie,
Here.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Okay, order number 1. Be it ordained that the Building Department and Health Department meet with the Public Works Subcommittee to discuss counselor concerns for problem properties in their respective wards. Before we go into discussion here at the table, I'm gonna open it up to, public input. Public input is limited to 3 minutes or less. So when you get to the mic, could you please state your name and your address and, give us your concerns? Thank you. Anybody for public input? The microphone's right there.
My name is Donald Boyer, and reside at 84 Siren Street, Chicopee, Mass. Our problem property is 96 Siren Street. And it's been a disaster ever since I've been there for the past 20 years, and fix it up, then it goes right down, same old stuff again. Doesn't seem to get monitored as much. His houses should be condemned. He's got a roof over on one building behind him that's just completely blown off. He's got a trailer back there. I have no idea what that's doing. He's got a vehicle that's been parked there for well over 20 years. He's got a plate on it, but it's just loaded with junk. He just never seems to stay on top of it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for, public input? 3 minutes or less. Anybody moving?
My name is Anna Robertson. I live at 141 Boulay Circle, and I'm having concerns with my next door at 131 Boulay Circle. They are posting banners on the property and signs, and I am getting harassed, and it's not fun. I'm being harassed by neighbors, I'm being harassed by police, I'm being harassed by just people because they believe it's my signs, and I just don't feel that it should be allowed, especially when everything is facing my property purposely, instead of, being exposed on their property for their, personal, gain or anything.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. I'm Dave Chapdelaine, and I live at 77 Siren. I'm Don's neighbor across the street, and my concerns are also 96 Siren. I've been there 31 years, and it's never been this bad. It's always been a dumping ground, but it's never been as bad as it is the last couple of years. There's animals going in and out of the trailer in the backyard, skunks and raccoons and whatever. Junk cars. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Every time the city, and we've talked to Bill, Bill's been working with us on it. Every time they approach him, he cleans up a little bit, just enough to get through an inspection, and then within 6 months, 2 months, it's right back to the way it was before. I've been there 31, going on 32 years, and it's been like this ever since I've been there. We just want, you understand, if somebody owns their property, they can do what they want with their own property. Everybody understands that. But when a realtor tells you that if you sell your house, you're going to get about $40,000 or less because of that property, and Don was right next door, and his was even more than that, that's when it's time to do something. Again, I understand he owns the house, and he can, but at least keep it clean. You don't have to have 16 grills out there. He picks up junk everywhere. I don't know where he gets it. He'll take out a load, and then he comes back with a load. It's ridiculous. There's a truck parked there that he had it on the street for almost a year because it didn't work. Just left it on the street. And the plows had to plow around it. And it was still there in the spring. He didn't have to shovel it because it melted. And then finally the city had it move him off the street because it wasn't registered anymore. And he just moved it in the front yard. And then he got a street sign somewhere. It says do not enter. And he's got it plugged right in front of it, in front of his property. And he's got another street sign, so I forget what it was on there. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's taken down the value of the whole neighborhood. So that's why we're complaining about it the last few years. And again, I thank Bill for working with us on this. But that's the reason we're here. This is really, really ridiculous now. So that's my input. 96 Siren, you really have to take a ride by there and see it. He's cleaned up quite a bit the last month or so since we got on him, but if you go, everything he moved out of sight, he moved it directly behind the house so you can't see it from the street. So it really wasn't cleaned up. It was just rearranged. So you should really take a ride by there in both directions. One direction, you can't see everything. If you come from Yvette Street, you can see everything. So I would highly recommend you take a ride down Siren Street. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? Put on Zoom for public input. Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Motion and seconded to close public input. Roll call, Carla.
Councilors Crumpets,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Lusane,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
You want me to, we'll go one at a time?
Siren and,
Right.
Boulay Circle. They're here.
Nice,
Okay.
that way, yeah.
So Siren was one, and what was the other?
Boulay.
131.
131. Okay, so we're gonna talk first, people that are here. And that one was, Bill's, Siren Street, number 96. Illegal trailer and unregistered inoperable truck, and then, other things, that we just heard mentioned. Bill, would you like to comment?
So I did go by there today, and he did shove everything to the back left corner, by the illegal trailer. I know we've had difficulty with the courts, even though we have an ordinance that states you can't have that tractor trailer there. The courts waited, we had to get their permission or to, enforce our own ordinances, which is pretty silly. But that was like 4 years ago, maybe, or 3 years ago. It's been a while. Yeah, but for the last 2 or 3 court cases we had with him, the trailer was finally allowed to be removed, but we just need to get it removed. I do have a local trash removal guy that can do it if the current guy that we usually use can't handle that kind of, load for the trailer. We have a local guy who can handle it. We can serve ordinances, we don't need well, we did get a court order 3 or 4 cases ago, but it's a violation of our city ordinance, we don't need a court order. Can't have a trailer, tractor trailer.
I'm happy to see that.
Need a mic.
So I think I may have spoken to you, Mr. Chaplin. My name's Dan Garvey. I'm the attorney for the city of Chicopee that's handling the problem properties. And you are correct, 96 Siren Street has been an ongoing problem. And I did explain to the court and to the resident that this has a very long history. So I won't bore you with all the details, but I will tell you that prior to my taking over the case, the court did order on 2 separate occasions a clean and lien. And what that meant was that the city was able to hire a third party to go in and clean the property on 2 separate occasions. The cost for that was then placed as a lien on his property, and he is paying the lien. So more recently, we were in front of the court approximately 6 weeks ago. And I did send him a letter, and I have been in contact with his attorney. So we were in court probably somewhere around 6 weeks ago. And prior to that court date, I did take a visit to his property. So I have been there 3 separate times. When I first began working on the case, it was a complete disaster. I went back probably 3 weeks later, and it was getting better. The day before I went back to court, approximately 6 weeks ago, I went, and the property was much, much better than it was the first time I visited it. What you have to understand is we have basically 2 options to request of the court. One is what we've been doing, which is a clean and lien, which allows the city to hire a contractor to clean the property and then lien the property. So we've done that on 2 occasions. We've asked for a receiver to be appointed. And a receiver basically is a third party, basically company or corporation, or an individual, I suppose, that actually the court appoints to be the overseer of the property, the receiver of the property. The court is very reluctant to appoint a receiver on any property because essentially it's a death knell to the property. Because once a receiver is appointed, that receiver then starts the process of correcting all the code violations. And then there's a lien placed on the property. So you have to understand, when I do go to court, I do bring pictures, I do bring the health director, we do take evidence in front of the court, we show the court the pictures. And the court has to make a decision as to what is the next step. And since the last time I was in court, there was a great deal of progress between when I initially took the case over and the court date. I entered into an agreement with him that was basically his requirement to continue to clean the property. The court allowed that agreement to be accepted, and now we're back, and there's a court order that allows us back on the property this Friday to confirm whether or not he's actually cleared and cleaned the property. We're back in court on Monday to readdress the court. So we are following Siren Street. We have been for a number of years. I'm the person that's actually bringing it in front of the judge. And once we have our final inspection on Friday at 2, I'll be obviously formulating my argument for Monday. But I don't want there to be any false impressions that I can get a receiver appointed or I can get a clean and lien, because the courts are very reluctant to do that. And that's just a reality. You're welcome to come to court Monday at 2 to listen to what the court does and says, but we have followed it. We're in court with him constantly, and we've asked for clean and liens, which have been granted in the past. We've asked for clean and liens where they've been denied. We've asked for receivers, I believe, within the last 12 months, which was denied. But then I went back again asking the court to reconsider its declination of the clean and lien, of the receiver, and that's when he made all the most progress I've seen. So we're following it, we're doing what we can, but the court is the one that issues the order. And the courts are very reluctant to issue clean and liens, and even more particularly receivers. It's an extraordinary step. I'll give you a perfect example. Lisa and I were in front of the court 3 weeks ago on 35 Campbell Street. It is I think Lisa mentioned, one of the top 3 properties she's ever seen since she's been in the city of Chicopee, I think for 28 years. I was there, Mr. Boron was there from the building department, Lisa Sanders is the director of health, and we had the fire department there. We had everything lined up, pictures, and the court said, we're not going to appoint a receiver. They're trying, we're going to give them another 90 days. So we try to get receivers appointed. We try to get clean and liens. We provide evidence under oath. We provide pictures. But if the court says no, all we can do is continue to follow through. And we will be out there, you'll see us there Friday at 2 again, taking pictures. Lisa will be there. We'll be back in court Monday at 2 with the pictures, with testimony, asking for some relief. What the court does, hopefully he'll give us our requested relief, but we don't ignore 96 Cyrene Street. Is on the top of the radar, and we are in court frequently with 96 Cyrene Street asking for relief, but it's the court's final decision. But we'll certainly keep you posted. I think you and I have talked on one occasion. I've explained the process and how difficult it is to get a clean and lien or to get a receiver, but we're trying.
Okay, and Counselor Cruikshank.
So through the chair. So the most recent court hearing we had before this recent one, I believe it was one where we actually evicted him. We condemned his house, and he had Bacon and Wilson, and he was put back in the house. And wasn't Bacon and Wilson a receiver at that point? Because they were supposed to be the overseer of the property to make sure he maintained it, and that never happened.
So I'm not sure of the condemnation order. I don't believe it was ever condemned, but
the sheriff served it all.
he served notices to clean it. Bacon and Wilson is actually his attorney, not the receiver. A receiver is a third party that's appointed.
My understanding, they were supposed to be overseeing the property, and that's what the court's decision was.
No. We're represented, the city of Chicopee is represented by myself.
It was before you took over.
He's always been represented. I've been speaking with Bacon and Wilson nonstop, but
Yeah.
again, it's the court who makes the final call, and
No, I understand.
we're
That's the
trying.
point I'm trying to make.
So we actually had for an inspector from the health department, someone from housing force. And it just. Personally, I was dealing with, Mr. Kirchner the day I got hired. Got a folder for him. I understand.
A couple boxes by now.
Yep.
It's frustrating, but we're on top of it. 96 Irene Street is the top of the list.
Right, so what I'm gonna ask is that the trailer and the car be removed. That we don't need any court order for that, the violation of our ordinance.
We can't order someone, you can't go on his property without a court order. So on
But
Monday.
we had a court order for the trailer, because we had to wait for the courts to allow us, and they did.
On Monday. Can
Correct.
we just follow up on that?
Yep.
Really,
Yeah, the abandoned truck and the trailer will address in front of the court on Monday. We'll have pictures, and if they want to take live testimony, that's fine too.
Make a copy of our ordinance.
Well, I represent to the court that it's our ordinance.
Yeah.
and it's- yeah.
Because I know we've already gotten one, it's already been in front of the court for the trailer, and they've already approved it. I don't know if there was a time period order.
No, I'll take a look, but we'll have the court reorder it on Monday.
Okay, thank you. Everybody all set on this one? Okay, thank you. Can we talk about, 131 Boulay? It's violation of city ordinance, banners displayed at 131 Boulay Circle. It's gonna be Mary Beth, please.
Resident called me that lives next door to 131 Boulay Circle.
The resident did speak on public input today, and there are banners at this particular address. According to the ordinance, no banners on residential property, so that's the reason why this has become a problem. I would like some input from either the city attorney or maybe from the building department on what they feel about the banner.
Right.
Speak about
Right,
it.
so we do have a temporary ordinance that was invalidated with a recent Supreme Court case, so the temporary sign ordinances that are on our books are non-enforceable.
Okay.
And the reason for that is basically you have a free speech right. So there's not much you can do when someone displays a banner, whether it be happy birthday, Mary Beth, or you're a jerk. You can't,
I'd take the happy birthday.
right. Right.
Not much. You got pictures? I mean, it's. Property you want for one. They can't see it from their property, only our vantage.
Yeah, we'll take the pictures and we've got to limit the public input because we got to.
Fact that it's advertisement of alcohol
Out of my daughter's house, while they're putting the sign.
Yeah, hold on, we can't do public input right now, it's not a back and forth here. We did public input and now we've got to discuss it here. Counselor Corshane?
So, those ordinances have been repealed. It took me a few years, and I finally got to bypass the zoning, commissions, not wanting me to do it, but like you said, it's been like 12 years, the Supreme Court rejected those things. So those should be on the books as repealed at this point, because you can't limit the banner's time and all that stuff.
I understand it's very frustrating for you, and I understand what he's doing isn't the nicest thing in the world, but I can't go in front of a court and ask the court to order that those signs be taken down because he has unfortunately, he has a constitutional right of free speech.
her side of the property. Because if she's putting them up for her enjoyment or whatever reason, express herself with, let her do it on her side, facing kind of. Why should it be having to face my side? I'm having police show up at my house telling me I have to have it removed, demanding me. Like people telling me, like, that's not fair to me.
I can speak to the city solicitor to see if he has any opinions or any advice for me, but generally speaking, unfortunately, because of the recent, not so recent Supreme Court case, can't.
I think,
It's gotta be content neutral is the main point. So if
Right.
we ban banners throughout the city, potentially that could potentially be an answer, but you can't ban a sign based upon the content of the sign. I agree with you in that. That's coming off the books.
It's already off the books. 2 months ago, I think we finally passed it.
So that did come off the books because of that Supreme Court case. That it was the U.S. Supreme Court, which is the highest court in the land, says that cities and towns cannot ban all forms of communication, like banners, temporary signs. Maybe there's something that the city council can do about.
And she would have the right to cover it herself on her side.
Right.
Like, if I'm just saying, I mean, I know that's something you probably don't wanna do.
No matter covering it myself, because how would I have to cover it myself? I can't put a fence in front of it to cover it because it's set back from the other ordinances with fences. So the only way I can do it is by putting lattice and stuff in my backyard to block all the signs and stuff that they already put up.
Yeah, we got one more in front of you.
I will certainly speak to the city solicitor in the morning to see if there's something we can do. But as a general rule, we can't ban banners or temporary signs in the city anymore. We used to, but because of this new not so new Supreme Court case, we can't.
yeah, right. That's my, yeah.
Advertisement of alcohol right there. Happy birthday, that's $5 per shot, $6 for whatever else.
I agree with you, but one thing I can say with certainty is that we can't ban certain types of signs. So if you ban a banner, it's all banners. You can't say anything that's derogatory, we ban. If it's just time, place, or if it's just a welcome to the city of Chicopee or something like that, a temporary sign like this, you can't say that sign's illegal, but that one's okay.
But I had police come. Have it removed.
I don't know why they're
Not
telling you
sure.
that. I agree it's not fair, and I will certainly look into it, but I don't want to give you any false hope because the Supreme Court case was pretty detailed. So it's not just our community, it's the entire country. So we used to be able to say, for example, a temporary sign for a politician can be up 60 days before the event, 7 days after. That's struck. You can't do that anymore. You just can't do it. You can't limit someone's free speech rights. But I will I will tell you, I wouldn't want this in my backyard, so I will certainly, front yard. I will certainly speak to the city solicitor to see if there's anything we could do.
So let's take it under advisement with all of the stuff we got, and we've got two more people that want to speak. So I just want to move it along. Councilor Crochet, you were first.
So at the heart of problems property is our ordinance, and I'm trying to look it up now, that the reason we can enforce people to clean up their properties is because it interferes with the peaceful enjoyment of your neighbors. Why don't we look at the signs as that they're violating their peaceful enjoyment of their property? Looks like it's torture. So that's an approach. Instead of looking at it as banners, look at it as the adverse effects of the trash in their yard, which happens to be attached to their house.
We can certainly look at, I'll ask the city solicitor to weigh in on what his opinion would be. If there's a way we can do it, I will certainly follow through on it. I understand.
Backyard right now installed. I can't even have people on my property at all in the slightest. I will invite all of you guys over if you'd like.
Okay, we'll look into it. Mary Beth?
Yeah, just to wrap it up, this has been an ongoing debate for quite some time. And there is a problem because it's one of the banners says. It's promoting the sale of alcohol in a residential neighborhood. So the Supreme Court says you have to have freedom of speech, but in everything in life, there has to be boundaries. And that's the problem here. What are the boundaries? Is it fair for a residential neighborhood to be under a banner which is advertising shots and beer that children are exposed to and whatever? And like the gentleman said, on Siren Street, there's a problem with trash and disposable debris. However, this is not a good way of handling, I think, and I'm a proponent for free speech, but is this free speech or does this require some sort of boundary because it's addressing the quality of life for the residents of the neighborhood?
I agree there are boundaries, but the boundaries right now are fighting words. So you can't put certain things up as a banner that would cause violence. But other than that, that's where the Supreme Court drew the line. But I'm happy to look into it, but just so you know, I'm up against First Amendment.
Right. I know that you had indicated that we can, as city councilors, I believe a couple of years ago, that they can yell at us. You remember you were talking about, however, if that tone and demeanor is perceived by the victim as violent, that's something, that's the limit, that's the boundary. So if somebody comes up to you and you say, oh, well, you're an elected official, the Supreme Court will allow me to say certain things. Again, if that person has PTSD because somebody is harassing them because they are an elected official, that's wrong. And that cannot happen in our society, as well as this particular banner that's advertising and promoting liquor in an area that is residential. It's not zoned for any type of liquor establishment. So this is a very difficult decision, but the neighbors on Siren Street should be heard, as well as the neighbors on Boulay Circle should be heard. I don't know if this is free speech, because they're saying what they want to say, but is it appropriate if there are appropriate boundaries?
Okay, so Attorney Garvey is gonna look into it, and, we're gonna move on.
Thank you.
Welcome. 7 Ludlow Road, it doesn't have any description here.
Yeah, basically it's mine, and this is something that has been discussed. Actually, I did it twice. 7 Ludlow Road, there was a trailer on the property. There were many items on the yard. It was a problem property in the past. Neighbors are concerned about the debris on the lawn and in the yard area. So I'm wondering if we could get an update. Is it okay? It can be taken off the list, or does it need continued supervision? Okay.
An ongoing issue.
Put it close.
So this is an ongoing issue, and we will continue to monitor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all we need.
Okay, next, empty lot next to 39 Boudry Avenue, behind parking lot.
Okay, so this is mine as well. This is on Boudry Avenue. There's a parking lot there. And behind the parking lot, I think is owned by the Chicopee Housing Authority. So behind the parking lot, there is an empty lot, and there's overgrowth, there's overgrown. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the inspector went out, and he's a little bit confused because he said it appears to be wood. So he's not sure what type of overgrowth.
Okay.
I haven't been there personally, so I don't know.
Okay, so what the neighbor indicated to me is that they were afraid of ticks and other insects from what they've perceived as possibly wood debris as well as overgrowth. So can we have another inspection on that?
We can.
Okay, just to update it in regards to the specifics of the wood that might be there, as well as any other overgrowth. I believe that this lot is owned by a business.
I will personally go there.
Okay,
Because
thank you, Lisa.
If it's woods, it's woods. And, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will look.
Okay, so the health director to re-inspect.
Yes.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you. Empty lot next to 49 Dean Street, overgrown trees.
Overgrowth, trees, and as well as overgrowth in regards to grass. Anybody go out there?
No, this is a house, a resident, 49.
Yeah, what it is 49 Dean Street. Next to it is an empty lot that goes from Dean Street to La Riviere. Okay, so it's a narrow lot, but it has created problems because of the overgrowth and the trees that are on it. And whoever owns this is not raking it, not making sure that it's maintained. Okay,
I will
so,
look into that.
okay, thank you.
Okay,
So we don't
health
order,
director to re-inspect.
I'm sorry, we don't order like the removal of trees.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
370 Britton Street, vacant house appears to need repair.
And this goes along with to move things around. This also goes to 364 and 370. They're next to each other. Frank,
Yeah,
what's the story?
That one's on the building department. So that property is 2 separate parcels. One of them parcels is its own business with a Res B next to it. There was a building permit pulled by a contractor to refurbish the property. Work, I think, started, but I think work has stopped. I haven't been by the property later, but I will follow up and see what's going on. I do believe that this house was, bought as an auction in the past because I think it was vacant. And I think they were trying to refurbish it, but I'll follow up with the contractor to see what the next steps are gonna be, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay, thanks,
Okay?
Frank.
Absolutely.
Building department to follow up.
Yep.
523 James Street is next. That's a vacant house. There appears to be damage to the roof. That's the yellow house
So I could speak on that. So that roof, there's a few shingles missing on the roof,
Yeah.
okay? So it just appears that you can see just placement of shingles on the roof over there. I do know that that property's been sold, and I think it's going through a transfer right now as we speak, to have it developed.
Yep.
So right now, I gotta find out where it is in the transfer stages, because I don't know who I could cite or ask them to fix the roof. So I think right now they're holding off to decide what they're gonna do with that building, because it might come down.
Yep.
But I think you brought this up to me before.
Yeah.
And it was been going round and round with some zone changes, and I know we've been trying to figure out how we're gonna approach it, but I will definitely look into it and get back to you.
So
Mary Beth.
basically, that's the 523 James Street where the yellow house is
Correct. Yep,
by
right near the
CVS.
Yep,
Right by
absolutely,
City.
right at the rotary.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's, okay, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
14 Dorothy Avenue. I know that you guys have been active on 14 Dorothy Avenue.
Right, so that's, I got that on Tuesday, so we're gonna be we sent a 10-day notice, so what I try to do is when I get, so the process, as you know, is if the health and building and fire can't handle it, then it comes to the law department.
Okay,
So what I try to do is when I get them a new case from either building, fire, or health, I try to send out a 10-day notice from the law department. That has helped some of these properties to try to facilitate.
mhm,
You don't want to continue to file complaints in the housing court for overgrowth and things like that.
yeah,
Because what happens is the courts get overloaded and they say, oh, the city of Chicopee, here they are with an overgrown grass again. And they kind of push you aside. So before I file a complaint, I just have to make sure that it's actually something that I can't resolve with either the homeowner, or if the homeowner has an attorney. So I try to give them a 10-day notice. We send a regular mail, certified mail, ask them to contact our office to come over with a plan of rehab. We're in that 10-day period. But again, if it doesn't resolve itself, then I will file a complaint in housing court. But
okay.
we're within that 10-day window when I send letters from me asking them to contact the law department.
Okay, so in summary, the law department is researching.
We're taking care of that.
Okay,
So
so
researching. Next
So
item.
27 Dorothy Avenue, that's across the street. Residents are concerned about that particular house.
Is that the one for auto repair, or is
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
wood? Yeah.
yeah.
So I've been monitoring to that quite a while.
Right.
Okay, I do go by quite often. This has been going on for quite a few years, honestly, Mary Beth. Honestly, I went by today just to see where we're at so I could have some information for you.
Yeah.
I seen a truck in the driveway that looks like it was being worked on. No one was there. It's hard for me to really think that he's running a business, but I think if I can send him a letter and maybe get his attention, maybe I can speak with the property owner and see what's really going on over there. But it comes and goes, and I do know that with the 27 and the 14, and I believe there's another one on Dorothy. 22
Yeah.
is another one I think we're gonna be speaking. So I think there's 3 houses right in that one vicinity
Yeah, yeah.
that we're trying to address with health and building. We might as well if you guys don't mind jumping right on 22, because I do know Lisa sent a letter.
Okay.
And, I know we're thinking that there might be running maybe a logging or tree service through there. I've been by multiple times. I see wood. I just don't see trucks and like logging trucks or something like that. So maybe he is running a tree service and he keeps his bigger equipment somewhere else and he's bringing home his mess because he's just not like an organized person. But if,
fireplace.
excuse me?
That's for his fireplace.
He said his first fireplace, so I don't know that. So for me to send him a letter saying he's running a business, I mean, I probably can, if Dan, you think that would be okay, but I really don't have proof. It's not like he's got advertising on his truck, just a plain old pickup truck with wood in it. It was in the front yard today, was when I seen it.
Okay.
And I think he's got some wood in the back, which I really can't see, but it's kind of a mess over there
Okay.
too. So
Okay.
we definitely got to address it. I just don't know how far the building department can address it with a business that's running there.
So
Okay?
basically for the note-taking, it's being looked at by
Yep.
the Board of Health and the Building Department. Okay?
Okay,
Both of those, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
At this time, I'm gonna take a, motion to, postpone this meeting, and we will resume it after we call in the, ordinance meeting to order, and then we'll postpone the ordinance meeting, and we'll get back to this meeting. 7 o'clock, and we posted that meeting for 7, so, I'll take a motion to, postpone, to recess. Motion to, recess. Okay, motion to recess and seconded, roll call, Carla.
Councilors Crumpets? Labrie?
Yes.
Kushein?
Yes.
Piniac Costello?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, we will resume it after we call the other one to order. And do I have the other?
sorry. Staring at it.
You're welcome.
Do you have the other?
Thank you.
Carla? You have the ordinance?
I got a drone. I got two drones, so.
order to get on, so he's gotta let us on.
Yeah, I have a drone. I can go straight up here from his house and get a picture. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. No, I got a drone that's got a very high definition camera on it. Yep. It's one of the reasons why I got this. High definition,
We're gonna
4,000K
The
camera on it.
ordinance meeting?
And the order allows us to gain access to the property,
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, cause I can go as high as I want on his property.
Friday at 2. I think so. I think that's all we have, right?
I'm gonna try to be there. Yeah, I'll get up from my nap early.
Okay, you're good, you're gonna call the roll.
Make a suggestion. We don't need to talk about any of these. You already, no. But she's wasting so much time. You've already got the list. You already have stuff to talk about. You don't, so I don't know why these counselors are having things. Just let you tell us what you've done, and then we can ask questions. 'Cause we don't need the narrative. And a friendly amendment. Her and I don't need to talk about these particular points. They've already gotten the list, did their homework, and have something to tell us. So just let them speak, not us. And then if we have questions after, we can ask questions after, and that'll shave a lot of time.
Yeah.
For everybody's time.
Hey, Mary Beth?
Yeah, I'm looking at the peaceful enjoyment ordinance, it's noxious, not obnoxious, so I don't think that's gonna fall underneath the peaceful enjoyment.
I'm gonna go there. Yes, he can.
They're not telling you.
Everybody.
Someone pissed off.
No,
Oh, 100%. This is a neighborhood dispute. Absolutely. You know, 'cause like, remember the lady behind me with the wood pile and all that stuff? You know? Yeah, well,
The ordinance.
the first second floor looks right in my
So
office. and I
the
put
Public
up my
Works Committee's gotta get
target,
out.
and it shows all the holes in it. I was gonna make a big middle finger, but so her shade's been up lately, so every day I'm flipping her around. Well,
Okay.
I bought a shed and I had to move the wood pile, so she's happy now.
I'd like to call the, ordinance committee to order. Where is my cheat sheet here? Okay. Can we call a roll call, Carla?
Councilors Crumpets,
Here.
Brooks, Ariaga,
Here.
Labrie,
Here.
Roy.
Councilor Ariaga is on Zoom. We have a quorum. At this point, I will take a motion to, recess.
Motion to recess?
Okay, motion, made and seconded to recess. Roll call, Carla?
Councilors Crumpets,
Yeah.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Roy.
Okay, so motion is meeting is, recessed until the final call of the, adjournment of, Public, Works. Okay, can I have a motion to resume the?
Motion to resume Public Works Committee.
Motion resume and seconded. Roll call, Carla.
Councilors Crumpets,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to, the next property, and we're gonna try to, do a little bit of, Bill suggested. We have the addresses here, you know, they can read. We'd just like a comment from either the building or the, health department to, what's going on with those properties.
Okay, so we stopped at 749 New Ludlow Road, South Hadley, in regards to a business. Okay. Oh, excuse me,
420.
420 New Ludlow Road, bushes blocking view of
Yep.
residents, cannot see traffic that is oncoming on the
Yep, that's
street.
building department. Letter was sent a while back. Nothing's been done. A second letter is gonna be sent. I also am sending a letter to 430 New Ludlow Road, because pulling out of Lombard Road, I see that there's bushes that go across both front yards, so both residents will be getting letters. Second letter's going to 420 though,
Okay,
and then after that, it's a fine.
okay, thank you.
Hold on,
Okay,
let's
yep.
on
Yep.
the building,
Yep.
monitor that. So I'm just gonna go now with, that was 740 now, 139 New Ludlow Road.
No, it's 749 I have.
We talked,
Oh,
okay,
749?
Yeah, 749, that's the business.
so I believe that's Marion's Construction. You know, Mary Beth, we've been through this for a while now. I mean, I know they got in compliance with us back in the day and with conservation and the planning department. Right now, I think you're getting some complaints of maybe starting early on a Saturday morning. I believe their business hours are between 8 and 12.
Okay,
I will speak to the owner, Todd Marion, about this. And I do have a note here, and there was some activity on a Sunday afternoon, okay?
right, right.
So I don't really know. I do know the business is closed. The only thing I can say is I do know that the Marion family is a big family.
Yep.
And I do know that some of the gentlemen that work there probably shoot over there on the weekend and maybe to grab a load of dirt for their own personal. I don't know that for sure,
Yep.
but I'm just trying to comprehend why people are there on a Sunday.
Okay,
And I don't think it's a long thing either.
No.
So
So
I'll definitely
they-
look into it and get back to you.
Okay, so the
Okay.
public record for the meeting, Monday through Friday, they're open from where? From what time?
Monday through Friday?
Yeah, what's their hours?
I don't know their exact hours. I'd hate to give you that wrong information. I do believe they start like at 7 and they work till at least 4 or 5 o'clock. But
Okay.
that's just,
And Saturday, they can work 8 to
I
12?
believe it's 8 to 12 on
And then
Saturday.
Sunday, no business?
No business at all,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
Okay, 139 New Ludlow Road.
139 New Ludlow Road is also some blocking. I've been out there numerous times. Them Aprovites has been there longer than I've been alive. So, sorry to say it that way. So, I mean, the way I look at this, it is the building commissioner's determination on the corner clearance stuff. And I believe there's traffic lights there. I do know the gentleman cut them back. I know it's not far enough back for maybe the person who's complaining about it. But I drive that road numerous times and I don't think that it's a major hazard. Now, if that was stop signs, I'd probably have a different look at that, okay? But really, you can stop and go, and I know the trees are cut back a little bit. I can just make sure he maintains them and try to see if I can have him cut them back a little bit more and see how, if he would take care of that for you,
Okay,
okay?
and the same thing is 245 College Street, again, that's been an ongoing
So that's
issue.
another one. I even went by there today. It seems like they did cut it back, but spring is here. Everything's growing, so I think he just needs a reminder that he needs to push his brush back,
Okay,
okay? And I'll try to speak up to him to do a better job. Yep.
right.
Yep.
And then 744 Britton Street, many items on the ground in the yard. This property has been a problem property in the past.
Lisa, is that the,
They're on housing first.
I thought that got cleaned up quite a bit. It did, so I just don't
But it's
remember.
back.
But it's back?
Yeah, a
Okay.
little bit back.
Okay, so
You
maybe
can see it's
revisit?
growing a little
Yeah,
bit.
so
Revisit, okay.
revisit.
Okay, so we're done.
Okay.
Revisit.
Yeah,
So
thank
that's
you,
all set
everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Frank.
no-
Thank you,
No
Lisa.
problem.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go into Ward 3.
Yep.
20 Joy Street, Overgrowth.
A letter has been sent out.
Letter was sent out. Thank you. 443 Chicopee Street,
A letter.
old letter,
No, a letter will go out. That's problematic. We get that every year.
right. And they do clean?
They do. So it's in the, I don't know much. I know the property's trying to be sold, but I don't know where it's at right now. So I know some developers calling me in the past to try to see.
I thought it was sold a couple of years ago.
It-
fell through.
I think it fell through, and then I think there was, the families kind of just figuring out what their next steps are gonna be. But I know that Lisa's been trying to monitor, and I do know they cut it once they received the letter.
366 Chicopee Street, Cavaliers Restaurant. Old restaurant.
So I went out there today, Bill, are you talking about the I'm sorry, that-
Goff.
Well,
Susan,
she's not-
Is Susan here?
she's right here.
Can't address her.
Over there.
I'm sorry, okay, yeah, so I went out there today, and I noticed them there, I do not know whose trucks they are, but I do know that property was just sold, and they're gonna be renovating that building
Okay,
for a different use. So what I'll do is, the new property owner, I'm gonna send them a letter to say that, the vehicles can't be parked there. I do know that with the zoning there, that they can request a special permit through council to keep them there, but that would be up to them if they wanna follow that.
They've been there for
Okay.
months.
They've been there for months, I
Yeah.
definitely understand. I get it.
41 Arnold.
So a notice went out via the sheriff, 41 Arnold, and also a notice went out to 48 Arnold, which is
Okay, notices to 41 and 48. 145 Clarendon Avenue. Squatters, unsecured pool.
Yep, so I have 145 Clarendon Avenue. I have spoken to the attorney who did state that he was gonna secure the pool, but I'm working on that. It's probably gonna have to go into housing court, but I'll keep you updated on
So I
that.
can speak a little bit on that property. So I've been keeping an eye, because I've been on Clarendon Street doing some other inspections, and when I see these things, I try to help Lisa out too. So I went right there. There was a few gentlemen in the back property. I approached them. They were very kind to me. They said they're gonna be cleaning up the property. I got their information, and they're gonna secure the properties because of the pool that's there, so no one can get on the property. And today, when I went by, there was a dumpster there. So they are making progress. But I don't know who owns the property. I never sent the letter. It was more, Lisa, I don't know if you guys have that information. Okay.
Right.
So maybe we could work together on kind of making that happen.
11 Wilson Avenue, overgrowth bushes and lawn.
I noticed one out.
Letter. Thank you. 5 Kurt Street, trash buildup on side in front of home, unkept. Drug activity. Rooms being rented or occupied by non-relatives.
They are renting to one person, I believe. That's what I was told.
I don't. I mean, this is the first I've heard of this. I mean, I don't think that we have the ability just to go, knock on
I've been
someone's
there.
door. We really need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been by there a couple
By
times,
there?
yeah.
Yeah. This usually, correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, this is more of a housing thing, and then if it,
It's also, the neighbors don't like this. I don't know.
correct. So we just,
I'll keep an eye on it.
we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll map. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, Councilor Shane, we got, 235 Meadow Street tires.
Bill, you wanna speak, or you want me to?
Stopped there last time we had a, public, March 11th, 2020. The last time we actually had a public, or a problem solving meeting. The tires, fire department,
Oh, yeah.
remember that? Is there,
Right, I don't know.
where are we on that,
Yeah,
you know?
I have no idea.
So, is that the property behind the Family
Yes.
Dollar?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is that the family right behind Family Dollar?
No, it's the property after, because what's the
Okay.
face owns that little
Okay,
piece
because
in
we
between.
the city owns the property right behind Family Dollar, and we've been cleaning it. And there's a stack of tires there now, and Glenn's slowly taking them away. There was a camper back there and everything,
But
but,
this, no, it's the.
it's farther
the-
down?
It's the waste company or the.
Okay,
The dismantler,
okay, I don't know who
They
that
were
is.
supposed to produce receipts.
right,
Okay,
EPA has an order on them.
okay, so I'm just wanna make sure that
There's
it's,
a building and health to follow through.
And we
Yep.
check with fire, because they've been monitoring that.
yep.
878, 890 Chicopee Street.
That's another one off the list. Did that ever get fixed? I went by, I couldn't tell.
So, whereabouts is this bill? I don't know, is this
It's
over, is this farther down, or is it by
Yeah.
the church?
On.
Farther down past 391?
Yes.
Okay, I just didn't know what porches we're talking about. These front porches? Okay, so you see whose names are there?
Yep. Oh,
They
I
don't
know.
even,
I've been trying to get this
okay,
committee together for 4
okay,
years.
so no problem. So I will follow up with that, okay? Make a note for building to go, and I'll go take a look at it, because I
Get it off the
don't,
list.
I mean, I seen that, and it didn't ring a bell to me, and usually if I know something about the property, it sticks with me, okay? So
Okay,
that's-
building to follow up.
Yep, building follow-up.
We talked about it. 88 Prospect Street, overgrowth.
I've been,
He may have already.
yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
health,
it's the new season, so I'm not pushing people right away for overgrowth, because it's scheduling weather, and, gotta give people a chance.
Seeds, new seeds.
Yeah.
28 Norman Street, illegal dwelling, garage.
Yes, and it's a house.
House that had the tree on it. Am I-
No, this one had a
Okay, 'cause
garage.
I don't know.
It'll literally turn into.
Oh, this would be, because I don't know much
Yeah,
about it.
but I went by,
I
it.
do
It's
know-
got a front door on it, and it's a house. And, yeah,
So is this me? No, okay.
somebody built a garage and built a house out of the garage.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna take a look into that too, building and health,
Okay,
because I
building
didn't
and
know.
health to follow.
Okay, sure.
195 Narragansett Boulevard. Vehicles, trailers, boats.
They're still there.
And whereabouts is this? Is this down there, Kane?
Yeah, a couple streets before.
Okay,
We'll
okay,
go together.
okay,
We
because
all
I
went,
mean, that's.
Okay,
we had a
building
party
and
one
health
time.
to
Yeah.
follow. 1024 Chicopee Street, overgrowth squatters.
Yeah, notice went out. I don't know about the squatters, but it is over.
Okay, notice went out.
That's our usual. We just say the red building, and we know what we're talking about.
1036 Chicopee Street, illegal auto repair dirt bikes.
So I heard a lot about this.
Yeah, so I
mean,
have
this is-
8 years of pictures of
Yep.
all the tow trucks and all the auto repair. I've been trying to get this shut down for 8 years. And they will operate after your hours are over, which makes it hard. There was a C-click fix because somebody complained about it again.
Okay.
So I have thousands of pictures of
So,
that.
do you have anything from police? Like, are the police department doing
No.
anything about it or anything
I
like
know
that?
some of the dirt
Okay.
bike issues are coming out of there
So,
too. 'cause we
the
watched
building
them.
department will look into it and we'll, we gotta catch something so we can send a letter maybe
Right.
for illegal auto repair
The
business.
tough part is,
Maybe that can get us on the property so we can get into the garage and see what's
Yep.
going on. Maybe there's all kinds of stuff in there we need to see.
Building to follow
Yep.
through. 13 Norman Street. Overgrowth trash,
the regular. Yep.
letter? Okay. 154 Skeel Street, excessive exhaust from tow truck vehicles all over Lime.
So he's got tow trucks, he's got all kinds of vehicles on his yard, but because we had a neighbor, he runs his tow truck for a long time and it just fills their house up with exhaust. So they're advised, call the PD since you can't idle for more than 5 minutes by state law. Doing that, but I don't know if there's anything we can do, because I meant to pull it out for today, but there's a CMR that says you can't park on grass in the state of Massachusetts. And,
Okay.
and I know, God rest his soul, he wanted it too. I have a copy of my files. I meant to bring it today, but. So
So can we enforce that? Because
it's a CMR, we can, absolutely, but
Take a look at it.
I'll get it to you.
Plus the size of the vehicle we can look at.
Yeah.
If it's over 24 feet, it's like a flatbed tow truck. Right?
No, it's a regular tow truck.
It's a regular tow truck,
open-
okay, so that,
open tow.
okay.
But he's got, he's got another vehicle, but let's stop.
Building health and Attorney Garvery to follow through. 523 LaFleur Drive, unregistered trucks, vehicles, excessive trash.
Already sent.
Letter, okay. 565 LaFleur, huge pile of trash, letter sent out.
You want pictures?
Oh, we have them. We gave them to
Okay.
you. Somebody gave them
Oh,
to
yeah,
you.
549 Chicopee Street, vacant house, Grover Grove.
I sent a letter for the high grass. I don't know if it's vacant.
it is. So
It is, okay.
I was maintaining the yard till, the kids got involved because the kids never took care of the father, so the kids can take care of it now.
Oh, okay.
So they're
Because I was
not-
taking care
they're
of the father.
not.
Yeah, he passed away last
There
year.
is an owner.
So much for taking
No.
care of it.
I did, it was this fall, it took me 2 days to get through it last
Okay.
summer,
Okay.
but now that the
So,
kids inherited or whatever.
Check it out. 0 Blanche Street, vacant corner.
Yep, so I know about this one, that's me, there's a container on the property, I know who owns the property, they're in the process of putting plans together to submit to the building department to put a building there. So what he did is he dropped a container there, because he owns the property and he's using it as his business. I told him, well, the only way the container could stay is if he had a special permit through city council, or if he had an active building permit and it was under construction.
Right.
So he's aware of it, and I gave him what he needs to
Talking
do.
about the gutter guy?
That's not him.
He's only had permission to put stuff
Correct,
there,
but that's the
not
gutter guy,
owner.
that's not the gutter, that's
Right,
Nova
okay, just wanna make
Construction.
sure, yeah.
It's Nova Construction, I know him, I know
Yeah,
it's,
I know.
it's Glebe.
He's my
I,
neighbor.
yeah,
Right.
Glebe, I know Glebe. So I told him, and he's gonna do the right thing, and I said, if you don't, then please remove the container until the construction starts, okay?
Okay, building to follow up.
Yep. Yep.
Tortolat Avenue? Tortolat Ave. Trash from local business and illegally parked cars.
I don't know much about this, I'll just have to mark it on my list and go look at it.
Yes.
So is the complaint Rogers or is the complaint the house?
Complaint is everybody on the street for years now. It came up in the mayor's neighborhood
Okay,
meeting.
so now, okay.
So
I know
I'm working
exactly
on
what-
ordinances because it got shot down for instead of, we have to rewrite the ordinances because of the parking issues too. But there's always trash on the street from there,
Yeah, but the trash.
from the customers. I know,
Yeah,
but they can do something hopefully, I don't
but
know.
yeah.
Maybe some trash bins
Yeah.
outside. Okay. Next, Ward 8, 760 McKinstry Avenue. Gentleman there told me that this was gonna be the nicest house on McKinstry Avenue, 2 years ago. It's falling apart.
It is falling apart. And, alls I know is I do know there was a new property owner that purchased the property, and they're in the process of trying to submit to the building department building plans for the renovation.
Is that a new owner? Because the people I talked to were relatively new last year.
So I got a phone call from someone, and I don't know, but they said they owned the property, they were newer owners, so I'd have to look into that, Gary, for you. I'm just not sure what their names were.
Unsafe and most of the
Exactly,
time,
yep, I know.
Not secure in fact.
It's secure in the back?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll follow up with that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll follow up with that.
677, 679 Grattan Street, we all know about that.
I know about that.
You know, Attorney Garvey knows about that.
There's graffiti, overgrown, there's trash in the
Oh,
lot.
is this Karen Romano?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm gonna look
And-
into that.
and
Billy's gonna get involved and try
Yeah.
to help the health department to get
Right.
to the bottom of that.
Same thing with 687 Grattan Street.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom.
And then we were talking about 149, 146, overgrowth, and one of them's really bad on the right-hand side. They've got 3 cars there, at least. And 89 Thaddeus Street on the list for years. We all know about them.
So I drove by, but she had the big U-Haul, and the
Yeah.
driveway's like, I didn't,
Oh,
I don't think she's moving. I think,
no, I don't think she's moving. I think she just put more stuff.
I know.
Washer, dryer, front lawn. I mean, if we can give them a letter or whatever,
I
you know. And 5 Garrity Street, you know, they do keep up their yard.
So I was surprised because
Yeah.
the lawn.
The lawn, that's how I'm cutting it. When I went by, somebody complained it was
But
cutting.
The house
The house, and I don't know if we can do anything about that.
repair.
I was on the porch once and I almost fell through and a guy asked me to move off the porch, please.
Yeah, so I can get involved with buildings for unsafe conditions or open to the weather.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I can start citing them, if the house is unsafe, I mean, Lisa, I don't know if you've been dealing, is this an older gentleman? I mean, I don't know if he's got,
He has a son though.
that could probably help them, okay, because I think I know, this has been going on for quite a while. He had a pool in the back, and we gotta get rid of the pool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I can get involved and go by and take some photos and see if I can cite him, if you want me
Yeah,
to.
you know, a letter might, because I don't think he ever got a letter.
I sent a
Yep.
letter
Oh, you have?
Well,
I
not
did
for me, though.
recently
Not for me.
Okay.
of what I could cite.
Okay.
Because I mean, the porch is obvious, you know.
Yeah, if he's got
it's-
broken
it's-
railings or
Oh,
broken
broken
stairs.
everything. There's
Yeah,
no
I mean, if
railings,
it looks
yeah.
like the roof's gonna fall in, or if it's
Yeah.
leaking, I can cite them on, you know, open to the weather or unsafe conditions, you know?
Okay, moving on, Ward 6, 455 Fuller Road, Counselor Shumsky's ward. It doesn't have any,
I noticed went out.
it went out, letter went out. Okay,
They
Donahue,
called me up.
okay, and they're gonna work on it. Or they just called you. Donahue Road behind Now's Place, auto shop, question mark.
Okay, so that's fall towards me, Sam. So, I know who owns the property. I spoke with them. We're trying to make arrangements for him and me to walk the property and to try to get things moving in the right direction. So I'm in the process of working with the property owner to get some remedy over there. I mean, I went out there, it's a mess, and I understand, okay? It's been like that for years, and it's time to get some clarity and get that place straightened up.
Okay.
There's a boatload of cars out there, okay?
407 Sheridan Street.
And boats,
And both. Is the city employee on that?
what are we talking about?
Oh,
A city employee owns Donahue, yes.
mm,
I'm not,
yeah.
24 Olco. We've had them in here, I think.
Well, 407 Sheridan.
407 Sheridan, sorry.
So there are two different fronts with vehicles, but they're all registered and insured. And then the back was trash. You close that out, right? The back,
did.
yeah.
Is it a business?
Oh, wow.
So, I don't know much, I'm just I do know that's a rental house,
Yeah.
okay? And I believe what's happening there's multiple people renting there, because there's multiple cars.
I think it's a rooming house.
I don't know if it's a rooming house, I just think I know it's, I mean, I never met the owner, I think I might know the owner.
She
I
runs a
can't,
daycare.
she runs a daycare there?
Yeah.
Okay, but the way I'm looking, because I got calls on that complaint, they were building sheds before, they were building sheds, but they were building something to relocate, it was almost like a ticket booth they were building on the property. Then there was a dumpster in the back for quite a while, a lot of trash was going in it, and then they have a garage in the back, sometimes the garage door's open, I could see stuff inside there, sometimes I see trucks coming in and out of there, kind of don't know what they're up to, I mean, I guess we can keep monitoring it, but I don't know if it's a closed case or where we stand with that one.
So we had it for like the trash, right? I think
Right,
the
so we
trash.
closed it for trash. If you need to reopen it, we'll reopen it.
Well, I mean, I can keep an eye on it and, you know, I mean, you know, I go by there all the time and my staff does too, so I could let my staff know, hey, when you go by, if you guys see anything out of the ordinary, let me know so we can kind of see what we can do to cite it. I mean, Lisa, have you ever spoken with the original the old property owner himself or herself? Okay, is it Vitali?
It is.
Okay, I can't say his last name because it's like 14 letters long, so kids.
You have vehicles that are registered and insured. What
Yeah.
can you-
What can I do? The only thing, if it's the person who I think it is, I can, you know, say, hey, look it, you know, let's try to talk to your tenants and, you know, let's do the right thing and stop, making it a mess, okay? So I'll follow up and see what I can,
Follow.
yep, I'll step in.
And 24 Oco Court.
It's,
Right, any new complaints?
So I do know, so they applied for a special permit for their membrane structure. I think one came down, they got approval. They came in and see me to get, now once they get the special permit, they come see me for a regular permit. And, which would they received because council approved it. And then I don't know if you ever did a follow-up on that yard. I never been back on the property. We were out there twice. I remember even Carl was out with me once because the neighbors complaining about the trash and the fence and the dog on the other side. But I haven't heard anything. I mean, we could monitor and keep an eye on it. I do know, I think he does run a junk business and he brings his trailer home and I don't know if he's unloading stuff now, now that they put up a fence, so we keep an eye on it. And if there's any complaints, please let us know so we can kind of do what we can do.
Okay.
Right?
Thank you, and I'll take a motion to place on file. Mary Beth, motion, and I'll second it. Carla, roll call.
Councilors Crumpets, Labrie,
Yes.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Okay, I gotta have this signed around here.
Bill. And I gotta get up.
Do you have any minutes on this one?
Thank you.
Any minutes, Carla? Do we have any minutes?
Yes, April.
Motion to approve the, meeting minutes. April 23rd, 2024. Okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes. No, we need a roll call in minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilors Crumpets,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Mary Beth, you need to sign this. Yeah, motion to adjourn by Mary Beth, I'll second, and, all those in, no, roll call?
Councilors Crumpets, Labrie,
Yes.
Kushein,
Yes.
Piniac Costello.
Motion, well, not motion, meeting adjourned.
No more votes.
We are adjourned.
Hey, you know what?
Thank
We could have done the voice vote,
reading.
because nobody's on Zoom.
Right, well, I tried to then.
Thank
So,
you
yeah,
all
I'll
for
send you
coming
those
out.
links.
We have your item about the plastic bags, and then we'll be taking the, city auditor.
Think of anybody you want to invite to that meeting, absolutely send the link out that I'll send you to whoever, you know, you think must should hear what we're talking about. The CHD will be there.
And there's like 3 communities, so this is probably something she.
It's already probably sitting on it.
Oh, right, she might get that.
Yeah.
Well, she literally just got hired maybe a couple weeks ago, her name is Ian. Oh.
Good, yeah, not bad,
But she's just your nurse, I know.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right,
But,
exactly.
because really it's just the providers that, you know, we bring something to the table, the providers are sitting there, and it goes through a process, and it's very, scripted, you know, driven, so that, you know, it's cut and dry. But I'll send you a link that shows the thing of the filter floor process.
Okay, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
How this, like, when you say this before. Oh.
Yep, so we do it on Zoom, because they love it. But there's a lot of places where they sit around a big table, all the providers.
And so that.
No, we're just a piece of paper, they're talking about the situation, the situation table.
And so I was just gonna say, okay, yes to this, and then we're gonna reach out to them.
Yeah, so and that's what the filter process is vet every one of them to make sure it's like,
I do
not
like
like this, but you have to.
I like yours better.
It has to be acute.
I like that one better.
And do they ask for insurance, like, do they have to be insured?
I don't know.
On-house people?
So it's just, they sign a waiver and they are allowing us to, all the providers have to do an MOA. But they've actually worked with HIPAA to make this legit. Obviously, we're talking amongst a lot of different people about people, so it took about a year to get HIPAA on board. So, yep, I have a waiver. Electronic copy of the waivers.
I will look for it on Thursday.
Yep, but I think that might not involved, just leave it.
Like what it is.
Yeah, so it's really cool, so
have a differential. So,
Right, and I was trying to join them, even if they said you can have 3 cases, you can present 3 a week, from Chicopee, because I didn't want to respect the time of all the providers, but I've been going through a lot of traffic and share on my outside activities, and so I'm separating myself from them, and we're just gonna do our own, and hopefully the providers won't mind another day out of their lives. You know, it's a few hours, but. Call the, meeting to order, ordinance committee of 5/14/2024 at 7:30. We're gonna, return from recess. I'll take a motion.
Motion to return from recess?
Motion made and seconded, return from recess. Roll call. Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Okay. Counselor Ariaga is on Zoom. Please mute all phones. Anyone, who is participating via Zoom, only on the committee, okay. Announce department heads. We've got, Lisa Sanders here. We've got, Doug Ellis here from engineering. City auditor. Sharon Riley, city auditor is here. In compliance with the open meeting law of the city of Chicopee, we're recording this meeting. Is anyone else in the audience or on Zoom, video or audio taping this meeting? If so, please state your name and organization. Anybody on Zoom doing that? Anybody in the audience doing that? Seeing none. Order number 1.
Can I make a motion to take item number 2 first?
Item number 2? What you said?
Yeah, to take, Auditor Riley first.
Okay, which one?
I'll make a motion, well, I'll second, no, actually, you gotta second the motion. Second the motion to take item number 2 out of order.
Yeah, motion made and seconded to take item 2 out of order. Do you have to call the roll? Roll call.
Crumpets,
Yes?
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
Yep.
Item 2. Be it ordained by the city council that the code of the city of Chicopee for the year 1991 as amended be and is hereby further amended as follows. Add to chapter 32, article 1, section 3, the city auditor shall furnish the city council with a monthly budget report of expenditures and revenues prior to its first regular meeting of any month. The amended chapter 32, article 1, section 3 will read, the city auditor shall act as the clerk of the committee on finance and of the committee on claims and accounts. It shall be his duty to carefully examine all claims which may be presented against the city, see that the same are correctly cased, that the amounts charged are proper and in accordance with the contract under which the charges were made, and that the same are legal. If he finds the claims correct, he shall approve the same in writing and submit them to the mayor, who may order payment thereof. If he shall disapprove any claim, he shall return it to the officer, board, or committee from whom it came from for revision. And if not corrected and he still disapproves of it, he shall refer it to the committee of claims and accounts with his objections thereto. He shall examine the accounts of the city collector and of all other persons, committees, and boards who may be charged with the collection or disbursement of the funds of the city. And for this purpose shall have access to all the books and vouchers which relate to said accounts. At the close of the financial year, he shall prepare a detailed report of the finances of the year and of all accounts examined by him and submit the same to the Committee on Finance. The city auditor is to provide a report listing general fund receipts and revolving funds for each department for all budget hearings. The city auditor shall furnish the city council with a monthly budget report of expenditures and revenues prior to its first regular meeting of any month. Councilor Wagner and Ariaga. So let me open it up to any public input first on the floor. Seeing no public input on the floor, anybody on Zoom for public input on this item? Anybody on
Mr.
Zoom
Chairman,
for
I'm here
public
for,
input on this
public
item.
input. Mr. Chairman, I'm
Okay.
here for public input.
Citizen Wagner has his hand up. Yes, Mr. Wagner.
Thank you, Mr.
Public
Chairman.
input.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in complete support of this order. Not only that, it is, at least in part required under Mass General Law. Under Mass General Law, Chapter
Can you
41.
speak up, Mr. Wagner?
Yes,
We're
is
having
this a little
trouble
bit
hearing
better?
you.
Is this a little bit better?
A little bit, and Chris is gonna turn the volume up. Our IT person's gonna check on
Of course.
it. Chris. Can you
Hello?
say something, Mr. Wagner?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
great.
I'm in complete support of this proposal. Not only am I in support of it, at least in part, it is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 58, that all boards, committees, and commissions within a city or town be provided a monthly report of expenditures by the town accountant or city auditor, which we have not been getting and which I would like to be receiving very soon. But not only that, this proposal goes one step further in giving us a report of what revenues have come in. So I'm in complete support of it. And I'm proud that Councilors Wagner and Ariaga have sponsored the order. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on Zoom? For public input? Okay, seeing none, motion to close public input. A motion and seconded to close public input. Agnes, roll call?
Crumpets,
Yes?
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Public input is closed. Public input is closed. Let's start here with the committee, and we also have our city auditor here, so why don't we get the city auditor's take on this?
So my take on it is, I'll provide the city council whatever reports they want. Years ago, I've been here a long time, as y'all know, and years ago, I used to provide the reports to the city council. And then they told me, too much paper, we'll tell you when we want something, don't give them to us anymore. I don't know if any long timers remember this, but I used to provide them. So now when I go to a budget meeting, I have a full set in front of me. If anybody has a question on anything, how much they spend in their overtime, how much do they take in their revolving fund, I have it in front of me and I answer the question. They want it to be given to every city councilor again, like I used to, I will do that. But if you're gonna revamp the city auditor ordinance, can I ask that you revamp the entire thing? Because half the stuff that you read is so out of date and inaccurate that it's not even funny. I'm not the secretary of any finance committee. I don't even get invited to more than half of the finance committee meetings. I don't even know when they are. I don't get invited. So why am I the secretary of a finance committee that I don't even know when the meetings are? There's a lot of things in there that are inaccurate about claims and accounts and other things. So
Anybody?
that's my thought. But any reports anybody wants, I will provide.
I have some, just a couple questions. I guess, how much of a workload does this add to you? And is there a way to kind of simplify it? So if you were to provide these reports, what would kind of make it easy?
Well, I know most of the counselors, and I know some don't want it, and some do. And I say to myself, I can certainly email it to people that, I can set it on a recurring thing that it will run. And it'll show anything that's posted through that date. It's more work, but I'll do it. I used to do it. And I just can't imagine, if I'm going to bringing that for everyone at a budget meeting, for every budget, that if we have 20 departments tonight, I'm gonna bring a year-to-date budget report on every department's revenue and expenditures. And the city councilors are gonna know how to read through that and know what they're looking at as they're trying to do a budget. it's easier to ask me, but if that's what they want, I'll do it. If they want it emailed, you know, we're gonna have some long budget hearings.
So you could essentially, if I understand correctly, and I don't want to overly simplify it, but
Okay.
you could automate part of the process and then essentially get the report one morning, you know, each month, and then just email that to the entire
Sure.
city council and,
Sure.
okay.
Sure, and you know, and I brought a couple of samples of what a year-to-date budget report looks like. I happened to pick city council, and this is in summary form. I wouldn't do it in detail because it would
Okay.
be ridiculously long, but in summary, it shows this is city council, every salary account, every expenditure account, every special account. This is just general funds, because if we're talking about budget, we're talking general funds. And it shows what was budgeted, any revised budget, what was expended, and total, what's the balance left, and the percentage that's left in a summary report in a page. You do that across all the departments. It's gonna be a long report. And if you wanted, and I think I read in there somewhere about revolving funds too. That's a different fund, but doesn't really have anything to do with budgets per se, except for registrars, because they use some of their passport revolving for their budget, but it's not this huge burden. It's just that we've been down this road before, and here we are. We're going full circle after 40 years. We're going back to the beginning, which is fine. I mean, which is fine. If that's the will of the council, I will do that.
And obviously, as you mentioned earlier, that if there are questions on it, that to reach out to you and ask for, you know, for more detailed information or
And some
more
counselors do.
explanations.
Some counselors call me and I give them reports all the time. Others don't.
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, but like I said, you know, I mean, it's late in the game for me. You know, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be here, because my time is starting to wind down, I think. But I do recommend that somebody review some of these archaic ordinances, especially mine, when I look at it. And that's why for years, I haven't even looked at this, because I read it and I'm like, that's not even right. That's not what happens in claim. You were on claims and accounts with me. This is not what happens.
Right.
I don't know where these things came from, but they're archaic. And if that little part I looked at, it makes me wonder how many other ones there are that are really archaic. But if we want to just add a piece at the end for year-to-date budget reports, I will do that.
All right, I'm all set, thank you.
Anybody else, we're the only,
Well, Councilor Arriaga's on the
Counselor
committee, I'm
Arriaga,
doing.
any?
Can I make a suggestion? No matter what you do, it should be made gender neutral.
What?
No matter what the council decides, I suggest making this gender neutral instead of he.
Yeah.
The auditor should just be they.
That was one of the things I was going to bring
Okay.
up, but
I didn't even want to read I was gonna put it in myself.
that tells you how
Is
old
it
it is, because I've been there a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this really isn't an ordinance, I think this was a order to get reports, and that was like backup information, so I don't think we're approving it as an ordinance tonight. Or does it say it's to be?
I think that's what the existing ordinance reads.
Read?
Oh, okay.
It looks
All
like
right,
you're
I see, okay, I get it now.
You're just adding that sentence to the end of the paragraph. The first sentence, you're adding that to the paragraph.
Right,
Put
okay.
it on the bottom.
So should we
You
send
can
this?
do that. Sorry.
Yeah, to the attorney, should we send this to get it revised and, because it is archaic and it's got his and, we can't do this on the floor tonight.
Well, you could do a few things. You could send it back to the council and say it's favorable, or you could say unfavorable, or you could place it on file and Councilor Wagner could revise it with help from the auditor. There's different options that you have. Because City Councilor Wagner's only asking to add this one sentence about the monthly budget reports to the end of
Chapter 32, Article 1, Section 3. So that's all he's asking. But, so you could approve that, you could not approve it, you could place it on file, you could, and then ask Counselor Wagner to come back with a different wording. Several options. You could have just approved that one sentence and then send it back to the council and then maybe come back later and do it.
Yeah, I mean,
You just want to handle the matter at hand as the one sentence. And do the revisions later.
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see it revised. I mean, time is not of the essence,
Well, yeah, I mean, we could, essentially do, place it on file and then ask, Counselors Arriaga and Wagner to work with the auditor to come up with, obviously striking out and making it gender neutral is pretty important. But also to, maybe get rid of some of the archaic language and then also discuss it with our law department to make sure, that we're not making changes that require a charter change or something like that. Bless you. I guess if there's no other input, I'd say, motion to place on file, and then we can have more discussion about this at the full city council meeting, with more of our peers and get a better feel for it. But I think at least starting the process to get rid of some of the archaic language that's in here might be beneficial. Then also working with the auditor to say, well, this doesn't really apply anymore, or whatever, I think would probably be the best thing to do. I can see where adding it probably wouldn't make that big of a deal, but if you're going to start revising the ordinance, you might as well make this part of a proposed ordinance and then go through and clean it up.
It would be great if they can make it clear how they want the report. Because I know, unless you're sitting at a budget meeting with a laptop in front of you, what is it gonna be to have that for the budget meeting? You know what I mean? Or before a city council meeting. So if somebody, and not all of the counselors use computers the same too, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Are you waiting for a motion? I
Yeah.
guess my motion would be motion to place on file, and then we could have, motion to place on file.
okay, motion and seconded, to place on file.
And then we'll have, further discussion at the full city council meeting and then decide about recrafting it and go from there.
Okay. Roll call, Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Arriaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Okay, motion passed. Counselor Arriaga on Zoom, favorable.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for taking me out of order, because
You're
I think
welcome.
the next one might be longer than mine, so. Oh, okay.
Well, actually, that was, Counselor Arriaga was the one that I think actually made the recommendation to take it out of order first, so
Thank you.
give her credit where credit is due, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and certainly, I'll meet with anybody but, I mean, if we're gonna do it, why don't we just do it? It's not that
All right.
long, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And we're getting close to budget hearings, so I don't think that's gonna happen for
Coming up
this year.
fast.
I don't think it's gonna happen for this year, so.
Did you want this back, or? Hold on. Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
No worries.
Sorry for the delay.
No. Busy night, busy.
Okay, we got item 1. Be it ordained by the city council that the code of the city of Chicopee for the year 1991 as amended be and hereby further amended as follows. Chapter 280-1 definitions. The following words shall, unless the context clearly requires otherwise, have the following meanings. Director, the director of the health department or their designee. ASTM D 6400, the American Society for Testing and Materials, ASTM International Standard Specification for Green Plastics. I don't have to read the whole thing. Okay. It's in the record. Okay, no. I was glad
Thank
that
you.
you have to read the whole thing. Okay, so, we'll stop it right there, and, I will, entertain, public input. Anybody on the,
I have, our health director speak first on it, or do you want to have public input first?
public input?
All right,
Get it out of the way.
okay.
Public input, anybody on the floor for public input? Anybody on the floor for public input? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Nobody on Zoom. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to close.
Motion to close public input.
Motion to close public input. Agnes, roll call.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Okay, Health Director, do you have something on this, to share with us?
This is not my proposal, but I like it. I would only ask that where it says 280-4, the effective date, change that to January 1st of 2025, and to not, like, everyone has to change on the same date. Did you read this?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had,
So
yeah.
there's two separate dates, like there's two separate dates, depending on your square footage, or your, yeah.
So on 284, you wanted to read,
Just January 1st, 2025, everybody has to use,
yeah,
just one date. Yeah, just one date, like, that just makes it easier. And then the other thing is, so we, health department, we don't have a list of all the retail stores in the city. We only license food establishments. So if you think about like Marshall's, they give bags. So who's going to do that? Like Home Depot, they have bags. Job is that to find out all the other people. I don't know if Lori from licensing.
question.
Because we have all the food vendors, we know who they are,
Right.
but there are other people that, I say Marshalls because I'm in there all the time.
We also, as a city council, don't issue licenses to every single business in the
Right,
city.
so, I mean, 'cause I can certainly take care of those that we do issue a license to. Cover the food.
So it would be just limited what we know.
But like I said, like Marshalls, they use plastic bags, lots of them.
Yeah. Retail
Home
establishment less
Depot,
than
there's probably
50,000
a ton,
square
you know,
feet.
auto body stores.
There's a lot of businesses
Right.
less than 1,000 square.
I don't know, this might be worth, postponing to see if there's, this brings up a good point. It's pretty easy to say all the businesses in the city, but then it becomes, how do you compile a list of that? That might be stuff for building, city clerk's office, you know.
I'm on board with this, like, I'm not against this at all, I just don't, and I can handle the food. But outside of food, I don't, you know,
And you're gonna be the one that's gonna be policing this?
yes.
She's gonna be policing it, she doesn't know how many businesses she's gotta police. I say we postpone it and, get a better definition of,
Yeah, we could, I could ask, the building department and the, city clerk's office. Who knows, maybe we need to go through some other departments where they're like, oh yeah, we send bills to businesses, you know,
Right,
like
anybody
the
who has a
collector's
list.
office or something
Yeah,
like that, you know,
which is
that
fine.
might be, see who has a comprehensive list of, you know, if I said, I want a list of all the businesses in the city,
Yeah.
you know, who would be able, who would be able to provide that?
I have a question about the single-use bags. Would this
Okay,
all,
is this Counselor Arriaga? Who is speaking up on the board, on Zoom? Who is speaking on Zoom? Okay, Counselor Arriaga? Go ahead.
Are you muted? Because we can't hear you, Counselor.
can you hear me now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can hear you now.
That's better. Okay. Would this also include like food trucks or like vendors like that do business within the city?
Yes, because that's listed. Food or ice
Okay.
cream trucks, convenience
Okay.
stores, yep.
All right, cool.
We don't know how many businesses we actually have that, or who they are. We don't know who has a list of them all.
Well, I guess I would feel better postponing it till we find out where we could get a list and then, you know,
Yeah. I'll take a motion.
motion to postpone to the call of the chair.
Okay, motion, to postpone to the call of the chair, seconded, roll call. Agnes?
Campus,
Yes.
Arriaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. I can't find the spot.
I think this is it, but. Is this the page? It's, yeah, that page.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
I will say I did get a call from a constituent who was against it. Well, and I understood his point. It's all about personal responsibility that, you know, I reuse plastic bags that I get at stores. But obviously I understand like what's going on near Walmart with, you know, in Ward 6, that people are not as considerate as me of like, oh, I'm gonna reuse my bags for my trash. So, you know, I understood his point and I kind of feel for him, but I also know that if everybody else was that responsible, we wouldn't be having this issue with bags blowing all over behind Walmart and other things, so.
Okay, Abigail Arriaga on Zoom was favorable. All three, 3-0. Postpone to the call of the chair.
And when I can see, I will look into this, so.
I will do some research.
I made a pun and didn't even know it when I can see again. The reason I can't, not doing the meeting is because I can't see, so.
Okay, item number 3. Are you all set?
I think so.
Thank you for
It's been
coming
a
out
long day.
tonight. Now Doug can get into it.
Be it ordained by the City Council that the Code of the City of Chicopee for the year 1991 as amended be and is hereby further amended as followed. Striking from Chapter 32, Article 1, Section 1A6, and in certain place thereof 4. The revised Chapter 32, Article 1, Section 1A-A will read. Do I have to read that? No. It's in the record. This is Councilor Wagner. Anybody here on the floor for public input? Anybody here on the floor for public input? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input?
I don't see him.
So, this is again? So this is, the general charge of the financial interest of the city shall be in a standing committee on finance, which shall consist of the president of the city council and 4 members of the council appointed by the president. Said committee shall annually, in the months of November and December, meet to compile recommendations for the city council budget for the ensuing municipal year, which recommendation shall be passed upon by the city council for referral to the mayor. Talking about the Committee on Finance. But
So the city council changed the rules of the city council from 7 members on finance to 5, but this is an ordinance.
we don't have an ordinance now for 5.
Oh, this is to change the number from 7 down to 5, right?
Correct.
7.
So that's already an ordinance, okay, so that's the only way for us to remedy that is to change the ordinance 7, 5. It's not like a charter. Okay. All
I
right.
believe Counselor Wagner's trying to clean up. That's my impression. He didn't say that to me, but
Thank you. I guess motion to approve the ordinance reduction of the finance committee from 7 members to 5 as indicated in the,
Approve the reduction.
or would we just say we're approving the ordinance?
just motion to approve this measure, this item.
Motion to approve this ordinance.
Revision to the ordinance.
I'm sorry, Councilor Ariga, did you have a question or?
So this is just, we're just cleaning it up because basically we can't have that many people on at the same time, correct? Just like all the other committees?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
But apparently this is in an ordinance, so that's why it's before the ordinance committee, whereas I think the others were just strictly in the rules committee, and that's why the rules committee was able to change those.
Okay.
We don't necessarily need an ordinance for it, but it's in front of us, so it would go to ordinance.
Well, the other committees don't have an ordinance that creates them, but this does.
This does, so we have to modify it, so. I guess motion to approve the revised ordinance. Or the order.
Motion to approve, yep.
Motion to approve. And seconded. Motion by Councilor Krampus. And seconded. Roll call, Agnes?
Krampus,
Yes?
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie,
Yes. Councilor Ariega on Zoom voted yes. We'll go to the full city council, the next meeting. Tuesday of the 21st. The auditorium. Okay. Item number 4. Be it ordained by the city council that the code of the city council for the year 1991 as amended be and is hereby further amended as follows. Repeal chapter 16, article 7, censorship committee. Just, cleaning up censorship, committee. Here for public input. Yep. Anybody, for public input? On the floor, nobody for public input on the floor. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Nobody on Zoom for public input, second time. Motion,
I'm gonna,
motion to close public input.
motion to close public input.
Roll call, Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes.
I did have a chance to look at this, and I mean, it doesn't, it's not applicable. It's, you know, for the city council to essentially censor movies, books, and magazines and stuff like that. So, I mean, even if that was still true, it's so outmoded in a day of digital media that for the city council to be responsible for censorship, I think is pretty much of a stretch. So I certainly agree with repealing and deleting the censorship council or committee.
Okay, so, motion to approve the order?
Yes, motion to approve the order to strike.
Okay, and I will, second that. Roll call, Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And Counselor Arriaga voted yes on Zoom. Okay, next order. Item number 5. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows, that Chapter 260, as amended on February 21st, 1995, be further amended by adding to the following in schedule. Isolated stop and signal signs, 8th Avenue at the intersection of Ross Avenue, isolated stop sign. Anybody here for public input on the floor? Anybody on the floor for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? Second time, anybody on Zoom for public input? Okay, on, motion to close public input?
Motion to close public input?
Motion and seconded to close public input. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Okay, so this is item 5, and, I'll open it up to the floor, and I'll ask, our engineer, Doug Ellis, for his comments.
As far as 8th Avenue at Ross Avenue, there's stop signs at both, in both directions, and there's ordinance for them, so we don't need another ordinance here for this.
Okay. Councilor Krampus.
Motion to deny.
Okay, motion to deny and seconded, roll call.
Crumpets,
Yes to deny.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. So that was a yes, Counselor Arriaga?
Yes.
Okay, so that, through the attorney, Tim, would that be on the unfavorable side? Even though it's motion to deny? No, motion to deny would be favorable. Right. Right, favorable. Okay, Counselor Arriaga voted favorable to deny, 3-0. Item number 6. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows, that Chapter 260, as amended on February 21st, 1995, be amended by adding 2 isolated stop signs and signal lights at the intersection of 8th Avenue stop sign. Anybody here on the floor for public input? Anybody here on the floor for public input? Okay. We have a taker.
Hi, Mary Beth Costello, 66 Foss Avenue. Residents, one resident in this particular area is concerned about this particular intersection. So the item was filed based on the concern of the resident, I believe. So I'm acting as a private citizen, and I've traveled this area, and I've realized that there is congestion and there are issues in regards to traffic. But as a private citizen, I'm not alone. There are other private citizens that have voiced concerns as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on the floor for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? Motion to close?
Motion to close public input.
Motion to close and public input and seconded. Roll call. Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. I'll open it up to our city engineer, Doug Ellis, for his comments on this.
Yeah, this ties a little bit into that last item, but Ross Ave crosses 8th Avenue. 8th Avenue has stop signs in each direction. The manual on uniform traffic control devices states that you shouldn't use stop signs for speed control. So that's really essentially what would be going on here. So I don't recommend approval of putting another stop sign on Ross at 8th Ave.
Okay, I have to go along with the city engineer on that. There's got to be reasons for it. I'm not totally familiar with the area. I've been through there. I haven't had a problem, but I don't think it would, control the speed. I don't think it, it should be used for speed control, as he said.
Motion to deny.
Okay, motion to deny, and seconded. Roll call, Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes to deny.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And Counselor Arriaga, favorable to deny on Zoom. Item number 7. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows. That Chapter 260, as amended on February 21st, 1995, be further amended by striking from the following in schedule. Other handicap parking, 14 Pelican Drive. Anybody here for public input? Seeing none. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input?
Motion to close public input.
Roll call. Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Okay, I'll open it up to, Engineer Ellis, for his comments.
Yeah, this is a handicap parking sign that's no longer being used. It's not physically out there anymore, so this is one that should be deleted.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the ordinance, or the deletion of the ordinance.
Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Counselor Arriaga voted favorable to approve on Zoom. Item number 8. Be it ordained that by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows, that Chapter 260 as amended on February 21st, 1995 be further amended by striking from the following in schedule. Other handicap parking, 82 Pelican Drive. Anybody here for public input? Anybody here for public input? No. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input?
Motion to close public input.
Motion made and seconded to close public input. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And I will ask, our city engineer, Doug Ellis, to comment on this one.
Yeah, same as last one. It's an older, one that is no longer being used and there's no existing sign.
Okay, I'll take a motion.
Motion to strike the ordinance.
So, motion to approve, Jim?
Motion to approve the deletion of the ordinance.
Roll call?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And Counselor Arriaga voted, favorable on Zoom. Item number 9, be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows, that Chapter 260 as amended on February 21st, 1995, be further amended by striking from the following in schedule. Other handicap parking, 104 Pelican Drive. Anybody here for public input? Anybody here for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input?
Motion to close public input.
Motion made and seconded to close public input. Oral call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Our city engineer, Doug Ellis, would like to comment on this.
Same again. It's an old ordinance that is no longer being used and no sign in the field.
I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve striking of the existing ordinance.
For roll call, motion made and seconded. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And Counselor Arriaga voted, favorable on Zoom. Item number 10, Be it ordered by the City Council of the City of Chicopee as follows, that Chapter 260 as amended on February 21st, 1995, be further amended by adding to Schedule Other Handicap Parking, 50 Pelican Drive. Anybody here for public input on this? Anybody here on the floor? No. Anybody on Zoom for public input? Anybody on Zoom for public input? I'll take a motion.
Motion to close public input.
Motion made and seconded to close public input. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. I'll turn it over to our, city engineer, Doug Ellis, for his comments on this.
Yeah, no objection to this one. They don't have any off-street parking of their own. And as you can see from the others, we've been cleaning up what's going on Pelican Drive so that we could grant this one.
Okay, did the, handicap commission weigh in at all on this?
Not that I had seen.
I believe they signed the favorable application.
Oh, they did? I don't want to get into his medical records. Okay, yep. Al Kendall signed off 5/1/24. Motion?
Motion to approve the new ordinance.
Motion made and seconded to approve. Roll call, Agnes?
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Counselor Arriaga voted favorably on Zoom. Minutes of April 23rd, 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes from April 23rd, 2024.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of April 23rd, 2024. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. And Counselor Arriaga voted yes on the minutes, on Zoom.
And motion to adjourn.
I'll take a motion to adjourn. Yes, motion made and seconded to adjourn. Roll call, Agnes.
Crumpets,
Yes.
Ariaga,
Yes.
Labrie.
Yes. Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all again.